What's up guys, Lightning here again, coming with another video for you all. I'm sorry this one's slightly delayed. Had a little holiday away, so I've just got back to get this video uploaded for you all. It is another Guild Wars 2 video. I am planning to do more, it's just at the moment it's a bit of a dry spell and I didn't really want to do reviews or anything on games that have been out for a while, and this is the game I'm playing the most at the moment. And I wanted to do another build guide on my warrior, because this is the other character that I play a huge amount at the moment, and she's great fun to play at the moment because warriors are in an okay standing at the moment. They're good at what they do, they're just not the best. There is the rampage meta going about at the moment, but I don't rely on it. It's more of an Oshia button, basically. So anyway, let's start off by looking at the equipment that I use. Like most warriors at the moment, I'm using the Great Sword with Sigil of Air for the crit chance lightning strike that I said that I really like on characters, and the Sigil of Energy for gaining endurance when you swap to the weapon, which means lots more dodge rolls to try and survive a little longer in the fight on those nodes. And I take a hammer with the Sigil of Hydromancy to applying chill on enemies is great, because it keeps them there long enough for those huge telegraphed actions that the hammer does, so you can start getting those stuns off. And I also take the Sigil of Leeching, just because I like stealing a little bit of health. It keeps you in the fight a little bit longer. Some people say it's not noticeable, but I'm swapping back and forth so often that I'm getting that extra little bit of healing that keeps me up. I like to take the Runes of Holbrack, just for power and might, pure glass cannon, doing as much damage as possible. And for that I take the Marauder's Amulet, because it gives you that extra little bit of vitality that the Berserkers doesn't provide. So that's the only reason I've particularly chosen Marauder over Berserker, just for that extra little bit of vitality. So looking at specializations, I've taken Strength, Defense and Discipline. And in the Strength tree, first minor is Reckless Dodge. You damage foes at the end of a dodge roll. You're going to dodge around quite a bit on the nodes. It adds a nice extra bit of damage, and it's actually an AoE that can hit 5 targets, same as standard AoEs. Rolling into the middle of a group's always quite I don't know, I just quite enjoy seeing extra damage numbers, to be honest. I don't think there's another reason for why I like it. It's just a minor. So the first item I actually take is Peak Performance. Physical skills deal more damage based on how much adrenaline you have. Physical skills recharge faster. Needless to say, both weapons we use are physical weapons, which means increased recharge on those. And extra damage for adrenaline. You don't spend adrenaline a lot in this build, except for when you want to get the elite, the Profession skill off with the hammer, just to get that extra AoE stun in place, which is hit and miss. Some games I will use it a lot, don't get me wrong, but other games it's used when it's needed. I won't just spam it for the sake of spamming it. We then get Building Momentum, which is burst skills restore endurance on hit. So when you do use that burst skill with the hammer, you gain some endurance, means another dodge roll, which going back to there, means more damage. You then take Forceful Greatsword, gain might on a critical hit with a Greatsword or Spear. Greatsword and Spear skills deal more damage and recharge faster. Now, you'll find that when you open up in a fight, I tend to open up with Greatsword. You get a crit, that gives you some might. You change over to Hammer once you're in there, hit them with a few stuns. You change back to Greatsword to get 100 blades off once they're stunned. That's lots of crit, which means lots of might, which means even more damage. To me, it's the right choice. We then get Stick and Move, get a damage bonus when endurance is not full. Because we're going to be using that dodge roll a lot, doing damage at the end of those dodge rolls, we get an extra 10% damage increase because our endurance should never be full. And then we take Berserker's Power, gain a damage boost when you use a burst skill. boost power increases based on how much adrenaline you have built. So when again you do use that burst skill with the hammer, you get 20% more damage, because it doesn't take much for a warrior to build full 3 stack adrenaline. And then looking at defense, I take thick skin, gain toughness while your health is above a threshold, which is 90%, which gives you 120 toughness. It's nothing major, you're probably not going to notice it too often, because you're not going to be at 100% health that often. Generally in most fights you'll see that you're sitting around 75% health, so you won't really notice the toughness bonus too much. I then take Dogged March. Incoming movement impeding conditions have their durations reduced. Gain regeneration when you're affected by one of these conditions. So Immobilize, Cripple and Chill, all movement impeding skills. Gaining regen just to keep you just to keep you going a little bit longer. But the thing that I like the most is the duration reduction of 33%. That's just cut a third of their time off, which means you're going to be up and moving about again, not too far after. Most of the time, like Panic Strike Thieves, like the one I showed you, it's a 1.5 second immobilize. That's down to a second, which is giving that thief less time to try and get you off. Then you take Adrenal Health, which is your next minor. Regenerate health based on adrenaline level. You're going to have a lot of, you're going to be max adrenaline a lot. Like I said, you don't spam your burst skill, so you're going to be regenerating an extra 351 health every 3 seconds. It's not overly noticeable, but it's helpful. I then take Defy Pain. Activate Endure Pain when you're struck while below a health threshold. So if you're struck below 25%, Endure Pain goes on, which is a stun break, and for the next 4 seconds you take no damage from attacks. You are still susceptible to conditions and control effects, but it keeps you going a lot more. You then get Spiked Armor. Gain Retaliation when you block or are struck by a critical hit. Retaliation gives you bonus toughness. Retaliation's great because it's a reflect. And you'll find that this is great for longbow rangers. When a longbow ranger decides to hit you with rapid fire, they're usually glass cannons with a high crit chance. Chances are they're going to crit on the second, if not the first attack. Rapid fire is multiple shots very quickly, designed to burst a character down. They're going to give us retaliation. We're going to reflect that damage back to them for 5 seconds. Quite often, you'll see that you end up nuking a ranger without even doing anything, which is incredible. It's really something to be seen. You then take Cleansing Ear. Gain adrenaline when hit. Remove a condition for every bar of adrenaline spent when you hit with a burst skill. So at this point, we're fairly tough. We can stand with the best of them. Conditions are our weakness, and this is our one true cleanse. When it's time to use that burst skill, you start cleansing conditions off you. And that's not just like one stack, so you'd only clear 3 stacks of bleeding, for example. That's all stacks of bleeding, plus poison, plus burning, for example. It's a huge cleanse, and it doesn't take us long to build those stacks, so we can get those off a lot. We can cleanse conditions a lot if we need to. Condition heavy builds are still harder for us to deal with than anything else. And then finally, in Discipline, we get Versatile Rage. Gain adrenaline on weapon swap. Again, it's all part of how we build adrenaline ridiculously fast. Warriors Sprint. Run faster while wielding melee weapons, and movement skills break immobilization when used. We use Hammer and Greatsword. We've always got a 25% move increase. And movement skills such as Whirlwind Attack, Rush, the leaps with the hammer, so you've got Earth Shaker. These are all skills that will break you out of CC. We then get Fast Hands. Weapon swapping recharges faster. We can swap weapons more frequently, which means we can get the combos off a little quicker with setting up 100 blades and stuff like that. Brawler's Recovery. Remove conditions when you swap weapons. So if we're going to be swapping weapons roughly every 5 seconds, setting up different combos, alternating between our stuns and damage, we're going to be removing a condition every time we do that, on top of the 3 that we can remove every time we use our burst skills. So there is some condition cleanse there, but it's not on demand all the time. You know, you've got to be smart about how you use it. Versatile Power. Gain might on weapon swap. Burst skills recharge 15% faster. So we swap weapons, we gain more damage. Not only that, our burst skill recharges 15% faster, which means we can use it more often. Again, I'm one of those people that won't spam it for the sake of spamming it. I'll use it when it's needed. Sometimes I'll use it a lot in a game, other times I won't use it a huge amount. But it's all there to help with condition cleansing. It means you can get your CCs off more often, you can get your damage out a little bit faster. It's in my opinion, an extremely useful minor, and a lot of warriors should be carrying that in PvP. I then take Heightened Focus. Gain quickness when you strike a foe that is below the health threshold. So you hit an enemy that's below 50% health. So for example, in this situation, let's say you've gone after someone and they're at 50% health, 55 maybe. You hit them with a backbreaker for that 2-second knockdown. You then gain 4 seconds of quickness, so as soon as you land that backbreaker, you change up and you hit them with 100 blades. They're not going anywhere. You've got quickness, so you can get your 100 blades off so much faster. They're pretty much down. They're done for. But that is the build for this week. Throughout the week I'm going to be recording some footage of the warrior in action. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this video. Thank you for all the support I've had with the video so far. Please do speak up in the comments. I'd love to hear some of the ideas that you guys have had, or any information on what might help me improve these videos anymore. Like I said, I am planning on doing other games as well. It's just there's a bit of a drought at the moment, and I don't really want to do a review for a game that's already been out for ages, or anything like that. I am looking at doing some video footage of other games in the very near future. It's just that Guild Wars at the moment is the game I'm playing the most, and there's a few videos I wanted to get out there that I think some people could find useful. But again, thank you all for the support, and don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. This is Blightling.